My girlfriend, 21/F, doesn't take my friend's experience with abuse seriously, and I wonder if I should be concerned. I was driving with my girlfriend the other day, who I've been with for 6 months. We were talking about a good friend of mine that she's met before. He has a few weird quirks and she asked me something about them. In part of my answer I happened to mention that he was in a bad abusive relationship a little over a year ago. She was surprised and asked me if he was gay. I said no, it was a girl. She immediately kind of laughed a little and said something like, "Oh come on, don't give me that shit, that wasn't abuse." I didn't know exactly what she was on about, so I explained that I personally saw his girlfriend hit him in the face twice, and that I helped him out of suicidal thoughts that he was having as a result of that relationship. She said if a girl ever gets mad enough to hit a guy, it's because he deserves it. Then she said to me, "And don't you forget it." Now I want to say, the "don't forget it" part was definitely a joke. I can't reproduce her tone and everything, but she didn't mean it seriously, and she was smiling when she said it. And that whole last statement itself seemed to be a little tongue-in-cheek, like she said it just to be over the top or something. But regardless, she clearly had no empathy for his situation, and that made me slightly concerned. I'm a little sensitive to these issues because my mom's second husband was abusive, and that was absolutely horrible to watch. And then just by chance my best friend had his own abusive experience a few years later. I've learned a lot from those experiences, and I could understand how one might not take these issues seriously until you've been involved with them, so I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I think I'm overreacting, but I wanted to ask if you all thought this was a red flag. I'm a male abuse victim. I was with my abuser, a female, for 2 years. Your girlfriend is an insensitive sexist pig. Emotional abuse, as well as physical, can be a weapon wielded by anyone regardless of, insert arbitrary human feature here / including women against a male. There is this preconceived notion that men cannot be abused by women, not just women who perpetuate such ridiculous nonsense, but it both entails that women are too weak to be able to be an abuser to a male, and that male must be delusional for thinking that they can be abused by a woman. So it's both shitting all over men and women to believe in such thinking. Gotta love how sexism benefits nobody and shits on everyone. Think of it this way: a bully is an abuser with narcissistic sadistic qualities. Obviously we know women can be bullies. Does she also deny women can bully men? Because I had this person in my high school days who pretended to be interested in me, even set me up on a date and ended up flaking on me. Then when I confronted her, she was surrounded by her friends laughing at me. So if your GF is really gonna say to my face, "So that's not abuse," she can fuck off. I wouldn't even be friends with someone who holds that view. I know far too many male and female abuse survivors. Frankly, that's a Bye Felicia moment. Edit, Grandma. Your girlfriend definitely has some shitty views about abuse and buys into a lot of toxic stereotypes and assumptions about masculinity. The joke probably was tongue-in-cheek, but it is horrendously inappropriate to make that joke, more so even than usual, in that moment while denying an abuse survivor's experience. It is never acceptable to say that someone deserves the abuse they experience at the hand of anyone, much less a partner who should love and protect them. This is like straight up foreshadowing to a horrible abusive relationship that magically makes you the bad guy when it ends. I'd run, bro. Hell, had I listened to my own instincts, I would have run when my own abusive ex said something similar to me during our honeymoon phase. I'm someone that can look past just about any joke, as long as it's clearly a joke. But in this case it sounds like she has very real beliefs that men can't be abused because they deserve it. The fact that she's also making jokes about it doesn't mean she isn't serious. This should be very alarming to you, as it indicates A, lack of empathy, and B, the possibility of abuse after you get out of the honeymoon phase. What else can I, 35M, do to enhance my wife's, 32F, homecoming tonight? My wife has been on a draining 12-day trip with our 1-year-old. I've deep cleaned the house, washed towels and sheets, and am making her favorite dinner for when she gets in. What else can I do to prep for her return? I want to make sure she feels appreciated and treated. That sounds so nice already. Throw some candles and a bouquet of flowers in there and I'm sure she'll be happy. If you have a bathtub, maybe clean the tub for her and give her some alone time to take a bath. Oh, good call. I'll also chill a bottle of the rosé she likes. Dessert, and make sure there are enough groceries and kids supplies, diapers, formula, bottles, food, wipes, etc., so that neither of you have to leave the house tomorrow. Telling her you missed her, and obviously showing her, is the best welcome home gift. This is terrific. Oh, slippers waiting for her at the door! Exclamation mark. I love it. Thank you for the tip. Take over kid duties as much as possible for a while, give her a break. Take on the midnight calls from the child if he or she isn't sleeping through the night yet. Besides, you haven't seen your kid in 12 days. You need the rebonding time anyway. Smile. I was going to say, you couldn't stop me from daughter time at this point. But great point. I will be covering both the fun and work parts to give wifey a break. My heart, sad face, heart. Anyway, do things that you've seen spark her eyes. Maybe she likes a good old classic meal in her PJs with you and then a nice long movie. Give her some rubs, some words of appreciation, a nice scented bath maybe, and most importantly be consistent in everything you do. Can't stop hoing lol. Heart, great points to keep in mind. Thank you. When they come home, make sure to prioritize greeting her first and then your daughter. It shows your daughter what a strong marriage bond looks like and will make your wife feel good too. Other than that, enjoy your evening. Seems you've got it all covered. Great advice that I hadn't considered. My daughter is only 1, but never too early to start building good habits. Thank you. In a heated argument, my 37F husband, 39M, slapped me a week ago, and our son, 13M, and daughter, 9F, saw me. I am both heartbroken and ashamed. It's as the title suggests. Last year has been pretty hard on our family. First, my husband and son had a serious car accident in March, and our son needed physiotherapy until 2 months ago. Then in June, my husband lost his management job as his company decided to shut down the local branch. Thankfully, he found a new management job at a different company a few weeks ago, but it was a tiring year for everyone in the family. As I said, it was a very scary and stressful year for us, and our marriage suffered because of it. I never said a word about his lack of income and was supportive. But the accident was a constant source of guilt for my husband. He confided in me that he thought he feels like he would never feel free from guilt for nearly killing our son and feels scared/uncomfortable to drive while any of us are in the car with him. And another thing is that we had very healthy sex lives with matching libidos until the accident and the job loss, and I tried to be very supportive until I failed a week ago. If he hadn't slapped me for what I said, I would be asking how to beg for my husband's forgiveness. Our fight was that bad, and even though I was slapped, I still feel guilty and horrible about what I said to him. We were arguing about something completely insignificant, whispering in the kitchen as we didn't want to alarm our children. He wanted to back out of the argument and join the kids in the living room, and my frustration, I said something quite rude about his performance lately and he slapped me in view of our children. I was just shocked, and I think he was as well. He tried to approach me and apologize immediately, and I backed off as a reflect. My daughter didn't realize what happened, but I think my son saw me since he became teary-eyed. He stuttered an apology. I asked him, "Can you please give me space?" and he complied, and I asked our children to go to their rooms and sleep. After I returned from putting kids back to bed, he was still standing in the kitchen. I was too ashamed of what I said and about being slapped as well. I couldn't say anything to him, and I think he felt the same way since he couldn't meet my eyes as well. We went to sleep like that while my husband slept on the couch. I don't think neither of us got any sleep. That morning, before waking our children up, my husband asked to speak to me. He didn't enter into my personal space, and he said he was sorry and he didn't expect any forgiveness. It was completely up to me to decide to forgive him or not. He decided that he would still come home every morning and after work, but would use a hotel near us to sleep to give me space. and he hoped that we would still stay as a family. I still couldn't speak. This was the first time I have ever been physically struck and I was still in shock. This has been going on for the last 5 days now. I feel ashamed to even stand in front of my son now, but I've to be his mother, so I keep that feeling inside. I feel like he saw me getting humiliated in such a way that would affect his respect and view of me. I also feel guilty as our son only saw his father's slap and not heard my rude and unworthy comment, and I am afraid how this will affect his relationship with his father as well. I feel ashamed when I'm speaking with my sister as she wants me to leave my husband, but she never liked him for being an unapologetic Dixie, and even though I was slapped I don't want to, and most of all, I feel ashamed and hurt and confused when I am in presence of my husband. Love this man, still love him more than I can express, but I hurt him in a way that was unworthy of me and he hurt me in a way that was unworthy of him, and I feel that we damaged our relationship over something meaningless as sexual frustration. I've not slept alone since we've been married. Even in births of our children my husband was there in a chair beside me, slumped up over my hospital bed. I miss his presence on my side the most, and I feel ashamed to feel that way even after getting slapped. Today, he came home again before the kids woke up, and normally I'd be the one driving them to school since he was afraid to drive them, but asked the kids if he could drive them. As he put them in the car, he came back and told me that he was sorry again and that he loves me and hopes we'll stay as a family. I wanted to run to his arms, but I was embarrassed, ashamed to accept his love and apology. I called in sick today to think about us. As this other thing, I never talked with anyone, even with my sister, but since the slap, I had erotic dreams about my husband being aggressive in bed twice. Both times I woke up feeling humiliated as shit. God, I thought using a throwaway account would make this easier, but even typing this made me feel wretched. I don't know if this is something that's going to stay with me for a while or not, and I hope not. I don't even know, after all of our real issues, I can open up this subject to my husband. I am looking for your advice on moving past this horrible event, the insult, slap, and also to make sure that our son can move on as well without damage to his mental state or with his view on us. I'm desperately hoping that we can. We have been together for the last 16 years, and until this accursed year, I have never even questioned my happiness. Update: my husband is about to return home with our son and daughter. I'm planning on asking him to stay with me and our kids tonight. If I can get the courage to do it, I'm also planning to hug him and kiss him in front of the kids, and talking about our apologies as we prepare supper for us. I'll post an update tomorrow and ask for your advice again if something happens. Thank you for your time and advice. I am grateful to everyone who gave their time and effort into helping me and my family. Update 2: yesterday, I and my husband had a talk in our front yard as we sent our children upstairs to get changed. We had a little private moment for us, but after we separated I told him that this will never happen again, and he readily agreed and apologized again, but I said I already knew that he regretted it and he didn't need to keep apologizing to me. I just needed him to be sure that this won't happen again. I also told him that he needed to see a therapist to talk through his guilt over the accident and job loss. He again readily accepted it. After we had a little private moment again, and during that, I told him that I knew my own mistakes. He tried to say that it was nothing, but I continued over him, and those mistakes would never repeat again. I told him that I was sorry, that I was too much of a coward to apologize for my words when he had already apologized for his actions days ago. I told him that I'd like to have my own therapy sessions regarding this year. Then I told him that we needed to talk with our son as he saw he slapped me, that he apparently didn't know, and he was silent, so I continued on to tell him that we needed to talk with him about it and should discuss what we need to talk with him before and think about what he could ask us so we could present a united front for his doubts and concerns. I could see that his mood was worsening, and I told him that we both had a lot to feel guilty about as we both crossed lines that should not have been crossed, but I was glad he was back at home and at my side, and we prepared supper as a family afterward. As some of you had already said, they were already aware that their father was not at home at night for the last few days. As they were coming back, I asked my son if his sister knew of the incident, and he told me that he didn't tell her about it, but she was asking questions about their dad and if we were going to separate. I knew I failed as a mother in the last few days, focusing too much on myself and my husband, but I didn't realize it was to this degree. I apologized to him and told him things will be alright, and told him that I and his father would like to talk to him about the incident tomorrow night, tonight, and kissed him. He visibly relaxed after that. We had supper as a family and told the kids that we were sorry that our argument affected them and things would return to normal again. Both I and my husband apologized to the children for the argument, and my husband apologized to me personally as well, and spent time with our children. It was a relief to have my husband at my bed again after so many days and stressful nights. Normally, we would be talking to my son right now, but he had a stomach bug today and I didn't want to bother him at his state. I am not actually sure if it's a stomach bug or a stomach bug if I don't want to deal with this right now. Even though, if he needs time to talk with us, I'd like to give it to him. I am supposed to be an adult and it took me 2 days to even talk with my sister about the incident. I am going to give the decision to see a therapist to him until I talked with a therapist of my own. I don't want to force him into an experience he doesn't want. I would rather not have my child be sick, so hopefully, this is a stomach bug if I don't want to deal with this for a day or two, and not stomach bug if I don't want to deal with this forever. We are now in search of therapists who can provide Zoom/video call sessions. Thanks for your help again, and thank you for the time, advice, and concern you have shown for my family. I am hopeful that we'll get through these events.